First to you, Holly, and good morning to you both. Are you worried about the lack of details that may turn off voters?
No, because details will continue to be rolled out as we get closer to the election. This is normal in any policy process that you make an announcement and the details and it'll be built up around it. But what we do know is the 7 sites have been announced, but we also know that they're going to be on brownfield sites where transmission lines, the water for cooling, all of those things are already present as we see 90% of our baseload coal-fired power stations start to go offline. So the details will continue to roll out as we get closer to the election, but I think it's very promising to see how supportive Australians are generally at putting nuclear in our energy mix.
Matt, a News Corp poll out today surveyed almost 1,000 randomly selected people that shows 60% support the idea of nuclear as part of Australia's energy mix. Does that concern you at all about how much support could be out there for nuclear?
It doesn't, Kenny, because the details haven't been released yet. And once the details are released, and I'm assuming they'll have to do this prior to the election because the Australian people have the right to know how much this energy policy is going to cost them. And we know that nuclear is the most expensive form of energy that there is. That's been confirmed by the CSIRO. So we're talking about a very large cost for this policy that will flow on to consumers. So they're going to face a very, very big increase in their electricity and their energy bills, but they don't know the details at the moment. The other point to make is that we simply don't have time. We're talking about 15 years before any of these nuclear power plants come online. We simply do not have time. We're in a climate emergency and we need to reduce emissions in a gradual process straight away. And that's what the government's policies do. We've got an increase in renewables, a gradual decrease in the reliance on fossil fuels, but through a gradual process that ensures that we have the cheapest form of energy and that energy costs come down.
The reality being, though, we are way off target of the 58 million solar panels required, the thousands of wind turbines that will be required. And when we want to talk about costs, energy experts are saying that Labor's plan with the 82% renewables, with new transmission lines, is going to cost around $1.5 trillion, yet we've got those in the Labor Party making juvenile memes and then talking about the cost of nuclear around $8.6 billion, considerably less than $1.5 trillion, because what Labor doesn't want to discuss is the distribution side of energy. That is about 50% of your bill. Nuclear, where they're being proposed by the coalition, would be able to connect straight to transmission lines, which would reduce cost. Plus, we're talking about Australia owning them as opposed to foreign interests coming in, putting up these renewable facilities for 20 to 30 years and then either vacating the space and leaving us with nothing or us having to pay enormous replacement costs.